So, you know that feeling. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the loud, dramatic kind you see in movies.
Right.
Where, the sky opens up and a character has this huge, thunderous realization.
Right.
It's so much quieter than that.
It is. Almost polite. It waits to be noticed.
Yeah, it's that little tightening in your stomach, just for a fraction of a second, right before you say yes to something you absolutely do not want to do.
Or the dryness in your throat when you agree to work late again, even though your body's been like screaming for rest since noon.
Exactly. Or, that slight hunch in your shoulders when you walk into a room where you have to be a certain version of yourself, a version that isn't really you.
And we usually label that as anxiety or maybe guilt. But I think if we really get quiet and look at what's happening in the body, it's not anxiety. It's something older, much deeper.
You're talking about intuition.
I am, but probably not the way we usually talk about it.
Right, because when I think intuition, my mind immediately goes to a voice, like a wise proverb whispered in my ear.
Don't go down that alley.
Yeah, exactly. Take the job. A clear instruction. And I think I'm always waiting for the instruction.
That's the story we tell ourselves, right? We want it to be a voice because, well, a voice feels controllable. It feels predictable. You can argue with a voice. But the reality is, true intuition doesn't start with words. It starts as contact. It starts as a sensation.
With contact with what?
With reality, with the here and now. It's the raw data your nervous system is picking up before your rational brain has time to step in and edit the script.
A flicker in your chest.
A flicker in the chest, a pause, a sudden temperature change. It's just your organism meeting the environment unfiltered.
And yet we ignore it constantly. I mean, I do this all the time. I feel that knot in my throat and I just swallow it. I feel the hesitation and I force the smile. Why do we do that? If the signal is so honest, why is it so hard to listen?
Because listening feels dangerous.
Dangerous how?
Because to really listen to, actually admit you feel that knot in your stomach, is to admit that you know something your rational mind is working really hard to deny.
It means you have to step out of the script.
The script, exactly. The one you've been rehearsing for years. The one that says you should be grateful.
Be reasonable.
Be flexible.
Oh, that hits home. Don't be difficult. Just make it work. Don't be high maintenance.
Precisely. The script says your needs are secondary to harmony, or to success, or just to keeping other people comfortable. So when your intuition whispers, no, and the script screams, be nice, you override the whisper.
And you paste on the smile, you nod along, and your insides just coil tighter and tighter.
Like a spring wound too far.
And then later, you're lying in bed, you're staring at the ceiling, and you're just thinking, why did I do that? Why couldn't I just say no?
And that moment, it isn't just about making a bad decision. That is a rupture. It's a split between what you feel, the actual biology of your body, and what you do, the performance for the world.
It feels like a betrayal.
It is. It's a self-betrayal. And the cost isn't just exhaustion, though that's a big part of it. The real cost is the erosion of self-trust. If you keep telling yourself that your own internal sensors are broken, that your reality doesn't matter, eventually you create this void. A distance between who you are and who you're presenting to the world.
That void. I think that's where the loneliness lives. Even when you're surrounded by people.
Especially when you're with people. Because they're interacting with the mask, not with you.
I want to just pause here for a second, because usually on this show, we try to analyze things, to think our way out of a problem. But everything we're saying suggests we can't just think our way out of this one.
Yeah.
We have to feel our way back in.
Right. In Gestalt therapy, we don't really ask, what should I do?
Yeah.
We ask, what am I experiencing right now?
Okay, so let's try that. For everyone listening and for me right here, I'd like to try a little experiment.
Let's do it. So you don't have to close your eyes, but you can if you want. Just bring your awareness to your body right now.
Yeah.
And not your thoughts about your body, not I should go to the gym or my back hurts, but the actual living sensation.
I'm scanning.
Is there a place that feels tense, heavy, maybe empty, or warm or cold?
I feel there's a tightness in my jaw. Just a little. And my breathing is a bit shallow.
Okay, now here's the trick. Don't change it. Don't try to relax it or fix it. Don't judge it as bad.
Just notice it.
Just meet it. Silently, just say to that sensation, I feel you.
I feel you.
That's it. That simple act noticing without fixing is the very first act of rebuilding trust. You're establishing contact with yourself again.
It's strange how hard that is. My first instinct is to immediately relax the jaw, to fix the problem so I can get back to being good.
Because we're trained to be efficient machines. But intuition isn't about efficiency, it's about aliveness. It's the raw data of your existence. When you honor that, even in a tiny way, like just acknowledging a tight jaw, you're rebuilding that bridge back to yourself. You're basically saying, I am here.
So if intuition is this physical contact with reality, why do we get so disconnected? I've heard you talk about this idea called the experience cycle. Can we walk through that? Because I think that explains where I get stuck.
It does, yeah. It's the natural arc of how we interact with the world. It should ideally look like a wave.
Okay, walk me through the wave.
So first, there's sensation, something feels off, your stomach tightens.
Got it.
Then comes awareness. You actually realize, I feel uneasy.
Right. I don't like this vibe.
Then a mobilization. Energy starts to rise in your body. Your system prepares to do something.
And then action.
Action. You set a boundary or you leave the room. And finally, satisfaction. You feel aligned, complete. And then you can withdraw and rest. That's the healthy flow.
Sensation, awareness, mobilization, action. I mean, it sounds so simple, but that is rarely what happens in my life.
Rarely for any of us, because we interrupt the cycle.
Yeah.
And usually we interrupt it right at the very beginning.
I feel like I have a master's degree in interrupting myself.
Yeah.
One of the main ways is what you might call deflection.
Deflection is so common. That's when you turn away from the feeling just to stay normal. You feel the unease, but you immediately tell yourself, oh, I'm just being sensitive.
It's probably nothing. I just need to be professional.
Exactly. I do that constantly. Don't make a scene. So you just dissolve the feeling before it can even become real awareness.
I'll make a joke or laugh when I'm actually really uncomfortable.
You numb it out. You scatter the energy so it doesn't have to land. Then there's another one, retroflexion. This one's painful.
And this is where you turn the impulse inward.
Yes. Instead of speaking up, instead of directing that energy out into the world where it belongs, you curl it back onto yourself. You swallow the anger and it becomes a stomachache.
You swallow the sadness and it's a lump in your throat.
You turn the action into self-criticism.
So instead of saying, hey, stop stepping on my foot, I'm thinking, why am I standing in such a stupid place?
Precisely. You attack yourself to save the environment. And the third common one is projection.
Where you disown the feeling completely.
You put it on someone else. I'm not uncomfortable. They are being manipulative. It keeps you feeling safe because you don't have to own your own vulnerability, but it also keeps you powerless.
Okay, these sound like flaws.
Yeah.
Like really bad habits I need to break immediately.
And that's the trap. See, they aren't flaws. They're brilliant survival strategies.
Survival strategy.
You learn them in childhood. Maybe it wasn't safe to express anger in your family. Maybe you needed to be the easy child to get love and attention. Deflecting and retroflecting kept you safe. They kept you attached to your caregivers.
Wow. Okay. So me ignoring my gut isn't, it's not me being broken. It's me trying to stay safe based on really old maps.
Correct. But those maps don't serve you anymore. They just bury your intuition. And the crucial thing is your intuition doesn't disappear when you bury it. It just gets louder or it turns into symptoms, anxiety, fatigue, resentment. The body keeps the score.
So how do we stop interrupting?
Yeah.
If I'm in a meeting and I feel that off sensation and I'm about to deflect, what do I do?
You have to face the terror of clarity.
That sounds ominous. The terror of clarity.
Well, it is terrifying. Because ambiguity feels safe. If you're confused, you don't have to act. But if you listen, if you admit that you know what your body is telling you, then you have to make a choice.
It's about being able to respond.
Yes. Responsibility. Not as some heavy burden, but as an ability. The ability to respond from your center, from what's true for you, rather than just reacting to what everyone else expects.
But sometimes it feels like my intuition is just screaming, everything is wrong. It just feels chaotic. How can I respond to that?
But is it actually screaming everything is wrong, or is that maybe panic talking? Because usually when we actually slow down and listen, intuition is incredibly specific.
Specific how?
It doesn't say life is bad, it whispers, this specific boundary is being crossed, or this choice isn't yours, or simply, you were tired. It's precise.
Okay, so let's say I'm listening. I feel the specific signal, but I'm frozen. I can't just flip a table in the middle of a board meeting because my stomach hurts.
Of course not. And no one is asking you to blow up your life immediately. There's a way to bridge this gap. We call it completing the cycle in awareness.
I love this idea. It feels like a way to practice without the crash and burn.
It's a really powerful tool. Let's try it. Think of a moment recently where you ignored your gut, a time you deflected.
Okay. A friend asked for a favor, a really big favor. I said yes immediately, but my chest felt like it had a lead weight dropped on it.
Okay, go back to that moment. Not just the memory, but the sensation. Can you feel that lead weight now?
Yeah, I can feel it.
Now, in your imagination, just stay with it, let it grow a little. If that sensation could move your body, what would it do?
It would. It would
Yeah.
step back, physically step back, and maybe put a hand up.
Do that in your mind. Witness yourself stepping back. See yourself putting a hand up. Witness yourself saying no.
It feels releasing. Even though I didn't actually do it in real life, it feels like a release.
Exactly. You're validating the impulse. You are telling your body, I heard you, and you were right. You're completing the cycle internally. And that stops the energy from turning into resentment or self-blame.
That's huge. Just acknowledging I wanted to say no takes all the shame out of it.
It brings you back into integrity with yourself. And that's the real goal here. Not to become some perfect decision-making machine, but just to be whole.
But let's be real about the consequences. If I start doing this, if I start actually acting on these feelings, it's going to cause trouble. People don't like it when you change the script.
No, they don't. And we have to be honest about that. Trusting your intuition does not bring immediate peace. It brings turbulence.
Turbulence.
You disrupt the old patterns. You disrupt the relationships that relied on you being the compliant one or the strong one. People might get disappointed. They might pull away.
And that's the fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
That if I'm really myself, I'll end up alone.
That is the primal fear. But the alternative is being with people who only love the performance while the real you is just slowly disappearing.
Oof. That hits hard. Being loved for the performance sounds like the loneliest place in the world.
It is. The reward for weathering the turbulence is integrity. It's the sanctuary of alignment. When your outsides match your insides, there's a quiet strength there that nobody can take away from you.
There's something really healing in this perspective when I look at my past. I think when we start doing this work, it's so easy to look back and just cringe. You know, why did I stay in that job for 5 years? Why did I date that person? We just judge our past selves so harshly.
We do. We feel shame for our self-betrayal, but that shame just creates another split, another wound.
So how do we fix that?
We offer compassion. We realize that the past self, the one who stayed, the one who said yes, was just trying to survive. They weren't stupid. They were protecting you the best way they knew how at the time.
So it's like saying, you didn't betray me, you were protecting me.
Yes, but now I've got us. That is the shift. Moving from a child's survival strategy to an adult's responsibility.
And it doesn't have to be these massive, life-altering changes, right? We're not saying the only answer is to quit your job and move to the woods.
Not at all. In fact, the real work, the real rebellion, happens in the micro moments.
Like what?
Like pausing before you text back, just taking 3 seconds to check in. Do I actually want to send this? Or choosing to go to bed when you're tired instead of watching one more episode.
We're just admitting I'm not okay right now instead of the automatic I'm fine.
Yes. Those are like
Well,
little acts of rebellion.
They are. They're quiet revolutions against a world that a lot of the time demands that you be numb.
And every time you do one of those small things, you are putting another brick in that bridge back to yourself.
And what's so fascinating is where this ultimately leads. Intuition doesn't just guide you away from danger. It also guides you toward life.
Yes. When the static clears, you start to feel the pull toward what resonates. Work that feels more like play. Love that doesn't demand that you shrink. It guides you toward your own aliveness.
I think that's the biggest takeaway for me. We spend so much energy trying to figure out the right path, like life is some big puzzle we have to solve. But this perspective says there isn't a puzzle. There's just you.
Exactly. It's not about getting it right. It's about being present. It's about remembering who you are underneath the curated version, you know, the wild, messy, tender human being who feels everything.
I want to end by going back to that feeling we started with.
Yeah.
But the flip side of it, we talked about the tightening stomach, but there's another feeling, isn't there? The one that happens when you finally listen.
The relief, that internal sigh.
Yes, that feeling when you finally say the truth out loud, even if it's hard.
It's the feeling of the war ending, the internal war between who you are and who you think you should be.
So for everyone listening, just check in with your body one last time. Is there a place inside you that just sighed, that whispered, yes?
This.
Hold on to that.
That's your compass.
And here's the question we want to leave you with today, a provocative thought to carry with you.
What if your intuition isn't trying to lead you to the right path? What if it's simply trying to lead you back to yourself?
And what if that is enough?
What if that is enough?
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time.